Hi, welcome back to Wild Speculations. I'm Daniel.
I'm Scott.
This week we talk about Critical Role Campaign 2, Episode 78, Between the Lines.
Yes.
An interesting title.
Yeah.
Multiple meanings.
Mm-hmm.
And I only got to watch about an hour of the live show on Thursday.
Okay.
Because I had to go pick up my daughter. And I had her Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Right.
This last weekend. And it was a busy weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And so my first real watch was last night.
Nice.
And from the snippets that I gathered over the course of Thursday evening and Friday during the day, catching bits of the replay in the morning, I was like, oh, I missed an episode. It was a huge episode. And it was a big lore drop episode again.
Yeah.
And I was so...
hit lots of notes on lots of our theories.
Yeah. And I was paranoid that I was not going to be ready no matter what I did for tonight. But I think we're good.
I think we are.
So we have them starting off in Nicodranas.
Yep. In the morning. One of the first things, Jester goes down for breakfast, Caleb goes down, and they talk about her dad, and Jester sets herself up to play off her lies.
What do you mean?
She's been telling everybody, "Oh yeah, he's my dad. He tells me how much he loves me." Oh well, I don't know how things are between him and my mom, so he may act like. So she sets it up to cover her lies in case they go see the gentleman.
So Jester's story is starting to veer into Oedipus territory.
Yeah.
For me.
Especially with that.
I'll disguise myself as my mother to see how he reacts.
Yeah. Just the issue that got her. So that makes me wonder, though. She's doing this now. This is what got her kicked out of Nicodranas in the first place, why she started adventuring.
Yeah.
Was she testing that guy to see, if he made mention of a daughter? Trying to find out who her dad was?
No.
No?
No. I think that was her. She learned this new spell called Disguise Self.
Gotcha.
And that was her flexing on it.
Okay.
Is my take on that situation. And she was going to play it up until it probably started getting physical and it freaked her out. Because we've seen that even though she seems to long for that kind of relationship, she is totally unprepared for it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, I think it was just she freaked out and then she dropped the illusion and the guy got pissed.
Yeah.
Well,
she trapped him outside on the balcony.
Yeah.
In his underwear.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of something I noticed with this, well, I didn't notice it with this episode, but I figured I would mention it tonight, is we seem to be getting more fourth wall breaks, as it were.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's the right term for them. But basically the table drama has increased the last few sessions. And I don't know if that's because they're not seeing each other regularly. And that just changes the energy of the room.
Yeah.
But we had the shaved ice this episode. We had the continued presence of the bug zapper.
Yes. Right into the coffee.
Yep. Talison's phone and the unseen minions.
Yeah.
In this episode. And I was just like, huh. But yeah, so we have Sam confirming that he spent the night with his family.
Mm-hmm.
Or Beth spent the night with her family. I was both saddened and grateful that we didn't get more of that.
Okay.
Saddened because I think Knott's character needed a scene with them. Especially after everyone confronting her about her drinking.
Yeah.
And the stealing of the flask. And we got to do this so we can get back to them.
Okay.
Kind of thing. And her reliance on disguised self in the moment, and having to remind Jester on Veth. Yeah. But I'm also grateful that we didn't get it because they were really spinning their wheels in the beginning of the episode. To the point where normally it's Travis who's like, can we just go? Even Sam in this episode was, can we just get to
Zadash? To Zadash.
Yeah.
We do see a bit of Luke's impressionability here, though. What else did you shoot? Don't. Well, and then you shot me. You want to see?
There was a Forrest Gump moment.
Yeah.
For me there.
Yeah.
Shot me directly in the buttocks. They said it was $1 million wound, but the armorist kept that money because I never seen a nickel of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we find out that 80% of all swimming lessons end in death.
Yeah. Yeah. Sam is good at finding his moments, for sure. But, yeah, part of me does wish we had a scene between Veth and Yeza. Because she also didn't get to tell him about the alchemist they learned about.
Yeah. That's something I would have liked them to have done.
Yeah.
Get them on their feet, so to speak, the family.
Although Knott's given them enough gold that they could, in theory, live for quite a while.
Yeah. Yes. But at the same time, I don't think, from what we've seen of Yeza's character, I think he's okay with, getting the money, but I don't think he's okay with raising Luke in the chateau.
True. Yeah.
And I think that they need to either use that money, get a place, there, or go back into the Empire and find a place to live,
Yeah. I can see that. He struck me as somebody who got sort of antsy with nothing to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then the other side of that is why does he have to wait for Veth and or the others to introduce him to an alchemist? Why isn't he going out and looking for a job?
Right. And maybe Matt seeded that so that maybe not this time, but the next time they come back, Yeza has found that alchemist and is working with him and is not at the chateau anymore.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait for a Jester message to see if that bears any fruit. one of the things that I was kind of saddened by also is, and I didn't go back to rewatch the episodes where they traveled from Zadash to Nicodranas.
Okay.
To see if all of the days were the correct. I believe Matt, when he was basically rewinding it,
mm-hmm.
but I had two problems with that. One, they were on riding horses each
mm-hmm.
this time. They weren't in a cart.
Right.
So, and Matt said they can move, which means their travel time, in theory, is likely faster than the cart when they came. Second problem, he didn't ask them if they were going to fast travel, or if they were going to set a fast pace.
Yeah.
Or forced march.
Yeah. I think the fast travel was almost implied. Because they kept talking about having to get there quickly.
But there was no forced marches? There was...
Right. No, and
there wasn't anything... And I know part of it was because it was already taking a long time.
Yeah.
And you want to cut that out, but...
I agree about the forced marches. I think the fast travel was implied. Or at least that's how Matt took it. Because that's how I took it.
Okay, it's fair. But I think it took them the exact same amount of time between there and from the first time when they were not fast traveling.
Yeah, I would have to check, but go back and check.
But yeah, other than that, no problem. I liked where they basically stopped.
Yeah.
And all the little bits.
And see, the one continuity error, or what may be an error, I'd have to go back and watch. But I thought Jester gave the honey to Marion when they got back from the pirate ship expedition.
You are correct.
And now she's giving it to her again. She got two. She could have given her one, kept one, and then it's like, I'm never going to do anything with this. I'll just give it to her again.
No, I think that was Laura going through her inventory and seeing the honey in her inventory and going, I meant to give that to my mom, and she probably didn't remember that she had given it to her. So I think,
didn't she already do that?
Yeah, I think that's a case of the exact opposite of what we've been busting Talison's balls over. Is the opposite for Laura.
Yeah.
It was on there even though it shouldn't have been. I loved the moment when she freaked out because she had deleted her gold.
Jester's gone. I'm a new character. Quickest end to a PC ever.
I love that because that's Laura showing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious for me. New bank account, who dis?
Yeah.
We see the effects of the early campaign stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The bomb box are out of business.
Yep. L5 fruition.
And for the first time in a very, 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 very long time, I believe it was Bo, I think it was Marisha, Bo, asked about Gustav.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's a damn good question. And nothing.
Yep.
I'm like, that thread is gonna come back and garrow at them.
Yep. We also see not Tinker.
Yeah.
Creating the bolo bolts. And I just keep going back to it. I don't know. At this point, I don't think it's going to happen, but every so often, Sam does things like this, and I'm like, okay, is he going to multi-class into Alchemist, into Artificer? We've got the official in-print book version coming out in October. I think it's a fit for Nod. I think it would be a natural multi-class.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she's going to stay pure rogue, but I think it would be a natural progression, and she's definitely doing the role play to justify it.
So we sometimes see how Sam trolls the other cast members.
Yes.
Next level not would be getting reliable talent.
Mm-hmm.
What if Sam has decided never to get 11th level rogue? So that not cannot have reliable talent.
Yeah.
So that there always is going to be a chance
that she fucks up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And multi-classing into Artificer would do that.
Yeah.
So
it's a fun contemplation, but I don't.
Again, at this point, I don't think it's going to happen. But just little things that she does, I'm like, well, and I think what I think is happening is that Sam is thinking about it, and because if you remember when the UA released, the new Artificer type. In roleplay, he started doing more tinkering stuff.
Yeah.
And it kind of dropped off. And now the book's coming out, and he's starting to do more stuff again.
Yeah.
And I think that's Sam contemplating it.
Yeah.
Whether or not actually does it.
Yeah. And that will give her proficiency in Tinkerer's tools.
It will.
Which currently she doesn't have. So, yeah. Maybe. Although, it wouldn't work.
What wouldn't work?
The bolo arrow. Or bolt.
Yeah.
And I think
if it had been designed like with a larger head, which you'd have to almost have a special crossbow to wear, almost like a net, where as it's going, the net pops out.
And not even that.
Okay.
So if you include magic, then you just have like a rune or a series of runes on the bolt that conjures a net when it hits the target.
Or transforms the bolt into.
Yeah, so transmutation or conjuration magic can do it. And I don't have a problem with that.
But you have a problem with this real world physics.
Yes, and them trying to apply it to, because it's a hand crossbow. It's not even a heavy crossbow. That hand crossbow, so a heavy crossbow only has, I think it's a 6-inch movement of the string.
Okay.
A hand crossbow is like 3-4 inches.
Yeah, no.
Just get the bolo and throw it.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're designed for, is to throw.
Yeah.
That was my sticking point at that portion.
Fair enough.
Yeah, if you want to use magic to do it, got no problem with that, and not. It not rides that line, and certainly once if she does go into Artificer, that's right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I will have less of a problem when she's an Artificer doing that shit.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, she's done multiple things with special arrows, explosive ones, whatever.
Well, the explosive ones I don't have a problem with.
Right. No, and
but yeah.
We've got Jester breaking out her forgery again.
Yeah, illegal immigrants again.
Yep.
And the guidance spam.
Yes.
And I think Matt might, he's already put in, you have to say it before they roll thing. And the problem is, especially with an extended test, does guidance factor into that?
Yeah.
And guidance is one of those, is a spell that a lot of people, some people have problems with, and some people.
So I love guidance. I love the spell. I think it's a great spell. It's one of the best divine cantrips in my opinion.
Yeah.
For me, both as a DM and a player, I don't use guidance unless I mention it before they announce the roll.
Yeah.
I'm not like, I'm going to make a roll. Guidance! No, it's like, I'm thinking about doing the, well, here, let me help you. Let me give you guidance. Okay, now announce that you're going to do it. You know what I'm saying? When you're in that, what can we do kind of phase, you know, before the roll is called for, not just before the roll is made.
Yeah.
And it's the same with, I'm going to help them out to give them advantage. Do it before the roll is called for, not before the roll is made.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I'm taking my action as you're taking your action to give you guidance. It's I need to take the action before you take the action.
Yes. Exactly.
And that's my personal view on it. And when you use it like that, it's great. And then where it gets annoying for me is when they're just like, guidance. Oh, roll guidance, you know.
Yeah. Or
I'm going to help him out so he has advantage. The roll's already made.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that I've seen happen a lot, you know.
Yeah. Well, some of that is also players not paying attention totally to what's going on. They're either looking on their character sheet or, in their case,
in Laura's defense, I agree with her. Give it half a second, Sam. I'm making the roll. You know.
Yeah.
That's almost as annoying when you're rolling as you say, I'm going to check, or you roll before you announce that you're going to check.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So I expect 5 episodes from now, Matt will have something to cut down on what's currently happening with guidance.
Yeah. Well, and we saw a hint of it already. Enhance ability. Because you can't do both.
Yeah. Because they're both concentration.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that I really appreciated with Laura in her second scry on Yasha, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Where one of them at the table was like, well, guidance. And she's like, I can't do both.
Yeah.
Because scrying is concentration.
Yeah.
Up to 10 minutes. So if she were to cast guidance, it would end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can also... I hope that the germination of the change that Matt has to make is not an argument between Laura and Taliesin.
Yeah.
Because it was almost some foreshadowing of that in this episode too. Where, why didn't you cast guidance on me? Or why wasn't I included in the enhancement already?
Yeah.
Which, in Laura's defense, I can see Jester definitely having that attitude. Especially in the context of the conversations that have happened between all of them. You know, you are really important. You are, we don't tell you enough, but you are.
Yeah.
And then the next time that's available to be proven, it is not.
Yeah.
She's not included in the...
Yeah, and to be fair, I've made my share of the faux pas we're talking about with guidance and giving advantage and everything, and I'm not trying to dump on them,
Right.
At all. But, those are just things that DMs run into.
Yeah. There are common
Especially
issues
when they have access, when their players have access to that spell, or you know. We also see Caleb writing cliff notes.
Yeah.
Which was really good, you know.
And he was going to be in my running for MVP for that.
Yeah.
But I have to give it to Laura, I think.
Yeah.
For this episode. For all scrying messaging.
Yeah, I gave it to Laura as well. Caleb was the runner-up for me between that and trying to diffuse the situation in the teleportation circles.
One has to believe that those sigils are available in book form at the Cobalt Soul.
Yes.
Like, in theory, they should not have had to go down and go to each one.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. So one of the interesting things about the whole teleportation thing that was going on, and why they were bringing the horses, is because, and Matt didn't check them on it, and largely it's because it was already over a 4-hour episode.
Right.
And maybe the permanent teleportation circles with the way the Cobalt Soul had it set up, where you basically just walk into the circle and you come out.
Yeah.
The other side. Because that's not, strictly speaking, how those work.
Right.
So, DM can have shenanigans and shell games with their permanent stuff that was probably established at or just after the Age of Arcanum.
Yeah.
Maybe these have different abilities.
Yeah.
So hand wavy it away. But Sprinkles counts as a creature, and each horse counts as a creature. There are 6 of them. They had 5 horses and Sprinkles. That's 12 creatures. Teleportation circle only works on 10. So either Sprinkles isn't with them, plus a horse, or 2 horses should be with them.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Like I say, I give it to them when they're using the infrastructure that's there. No issue. Okay, fine. Because he did narrate them.
Caleb did at the end.
Should definitely have left 2 creatures behind.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, and if you wanted to go with, as you go through, Not probably is left behind.
Yeah, because Not was last through.
Yeah.
Which is going to be great because she flipped off. So I know that we had established by Matt that you can't, when someone teleports, because the question was, can you trace a teleport? And not without scrying on the individual again. Is there a way to trace a teleportation circle? How long do the runes of the circle stay glowing after they go through? Say someone had Caleb's feet of Keen Mind. Do they go, one of those guards, do they go up, see those runes? Can they draw them out and an Arcanist figure out where that goes, or use that circle and they send an expedition force through? Stargate style? Because the reference of not being able to trace was specifically asked about teleporting, and in the case of Oban's teleport.
Yeah, which seemed to be...
Teleportation circle is different,
yeah.
And my understanding is that the runes are glowing and kind of fade. I don't know how quickly, though.
So, and this is going to get noodly, just to warn you guys. So the spell says that it requires 50 gold piece of gem-infused chalk.
Correct.
Which the spell consumes.
Yes.
So, if my ruling would be, there is no trace left.
Okay.
Once the spell completes and everyone is through, there's nothing left.
Okay.
However, if someone saw observe the drawing of this circle in the minute that it takes to cast, then yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
Or if in the one round that it is active, where everything is there,
right,
and glowing,
yes,
then yes, you would be able, if you could remember it all.
Right, which is why I specified someone with the keen mind beat like Caleb has.
Yeah,
and not that that's a common feat that people take.
Right.
You know.
But yeah, I don't, because it's not like.
And if.
Okay. There is possible. This is newly again. Because to make a teleportation circle, you have to cast the same spell, the same location for a year. That might seem to indicate that there is some etching of the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, is the outline of where he drew in the dirt still there after the spell fades?
See, I think that would depend on the terrain that he's working on. Snow, soft earth. Yeah, that probably would still remain. But on stone, maybe not.
Yeah, but he was in a dirt alley. Or an alley. I assumed it was dirt.
I see. I assume with it being Zadash that they're all paved.
Okay.
Maybe not clean, but paved.
Okay. I can buy that.
But again, that's an interesting question. And something that DMs and players should think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, that's an interesting way for you to learn potential sigils as a wizard.
Yeah.
Is to watch someone cast it and look at where they're going.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that has to be a Dunamancy spell.
That would be a great
Scrying is 5th level spell?
Right? Yes.
So a 6th or 7th level Dunamancy spell that allows you to scry into the past.
Ooh. That would be good. Yeah. A post-cognition type of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like your current location, scry into the past.
Yeah. That would be good. The one other thing about the trip into Zadash, and I know they've been working out a lot together, but was Bo trolling Ford?
Well,
jog along with the horses? She's got the speed to keep up with them. Ford does not. As a monk.
I hadn't actually considered that specifically, but you are correct. And that makes that all the more funnier.
That's exactly what she said that, and and it was my second watch because I closed at work that night, so I caught after the break forward on the to the end on the live show. But my first thought was like, that's just fucking cruel. Come on, Ford, keep up.
Yeah, I can just see her like hopping out of the saddle and just sort of running along and going, "Come on, Ford!" And then jumping up, and he tries to do it. He's like,
exactly. That's my headcanon for what happened anyway.
Yeah, I think I'm subscribing to that headcanon for sure. But it's definitely Marisha trolling.
Yeah.
Travis. For sure. And we saw that he's still sensitive about being swole, because when Caleb cast Seeming, He's like, well, one of the monks is, he's swole. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. But he has a cowlick.
Yeah.
But we also learn that Bryce was sent to Blade Garden.
Yeah, not a good thing.
Yeah, he's dead. Or they are dead.
They're at least grievously wounded.
We did not learn of a timing of the transfer.
Yeah.
But Blade Garden is where they got massacred.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean there's no survivors.
True.
I mean, you're probably right. But we were sure either Xenoth or the Halfling would be dead, and both of them survived. Or at least I was. I was sure that one of the people that Bo knew personally was going to be dead.
Yeah.
And there was just one that was grievously injured.
Yeah.
So, there's a chance.
So here's my argument for Bryce being dead.
Okay.
From a narrative standpoint. Bryce was a character that virtually all of them formed a connection with.
Yes.
They are somebody that helped get Knott's family out.
Yep.
The Mighty Nine have not paid a cost for the information that they gave to the Bright Queen. They have not paid a cost for giving her the dodecahedron.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce is that cost.
Okay. I'm 100%.
From a narrative standpoint, that's the cost of them doing that.
Absolutely. I agree 100% with that. And again, I'm not saying that they aren't dead. I'm saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
But yes.
I agree.
I agree when it happens, it's going to be something like that. It's going to be something like Bryce or,
To contradict my own argument, Matt has never been the DM to go that way.
Right.
That's more of a me or Chris Perkins thing to do.
Yeah.
Matt tends to err on the side of not messing with his players in that way.
Yeah.
Not telling the darkest tale possible.
He doesn't have many Phil Coulsons.
Yeah. So we got a lot of Bo's backstory.
Yes. Okay, so I want to mention something.
Okay.
Last week, I think it was last week, yeah. When I talked about... Week before, that's right. The last episode.
Episode 77.
Yes. I talked about Bo's dad maybe have been helping when I talked about possible locations for the dodecahedron or possible, areas of interest. And you shot that down, and with very valid points. I still maintain it's a viable option. We get this story that he was this broke bum, basically, who got convinced
by a fortune teller
to purchase land. And now he's this wealthy wine guy and stuff. Was he set up by the Empire for a front so that they have an area to do stuff? And
No.
No?
I have a different theory altogether.
Okay.
And my theory is...
Don't tell me it's the same person that healed Caleb.
No. No. And it's because he's afraid they're going to come back for money.
Okay.
I think it is a hag.
Oh, okay.
And the timing would be almost correct that hag could have been there avoiding Vox Machina to give him that advice. Or it's potentially a hag-like being And Lionette, Thoreau, is one of the traveler's first miracles. Or one of the first earliest crossing over. Because that would have been when Vox Machina built the door for Argon. So the timing's there that it could be connected to the traveler.
Yep.
And he's afraid someone's going to come, that this creepy fortune teller is going to come do this. But
okay, I hope you're right.
That could be totally baseless.
I hope you're right, because I want to see the look Matt portrays for his face when Bo shows up with Jester.
Sporting a holy symbol.
The matches, cloak, the matching cloak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Jester and Thoreau, it's now only a matter of time before she realizes she can be sustaining sending, and then cast, or sustaining scry, and then cast sending.
Yes.
So that she can see the reaction.
Yes. That's going to be amazing.
Because hearing that from Bo and what she said in the scry, or to the message to Thoreau, I'm always watching. Oh no.
And that would be so...
The temptation is going to be too big for...
See, now I want either a character or an NPC to be doing that and masquerading and mess with someone. I'm going to scry on this person and I'm going to send to them. Oh yeah, I can see you. And then point out what they're doing.
Yeah.
Just to fuck with them.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Garmelie is the fawn name of Argon. We've been saying that that's the traveler.
Garmelie, Argon, the traveler, all the same person.
Yeah, so and once she does that to Thoreau, it's only a matter of time before she does that to the gentleman. Yeah. And I wonder if she will try to imitate her mother's voice when doing it.
Ooh, that would be good.
I'm hoping that they have a little think about let's one of us look like Lavore, and I really want it to be Ford. I really, really want it to be Ford. Just because of all of them, he can do it continuously.
Yeah.
There's no chance that it's going to expire on him.
Well, the other option is Caleb casts Seeming and makes Bo.
Yeah, well, no, it can't be Bo. Because there's no way Bo can keep up the charade.
Yeah, true.
Because the first time the gentleman touches her thigh and she breaks his hand, the jig is up.
Yeah. No, you are not the only one. We 100% agree. I think I've been saying that since the first time they went to Zadash.
Yeah.
Before they got to Zadash the first time, or right around that time.
No, I think we've been saying that since he described the holy symbol.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. That was the first connection, which was before they left Trostenwald.
Yeah. But yeah. So the lore dump. We're getting short on time.
Huge lore dump. So let's get into that.
Juriel, the inevitable end. The result of a contract between Lolth and Asmodeus.
Yep.
And is a corrupted celestial.
Yes.
Now, last episode 77, I talked about how my guess was Matt was going to be using stuff from Avernus.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a particular angel in Descent from Avernus, which was first mentioned in Mordenkainen's.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what if he's going to do something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Or what is, if that was that who the Angel of Irons is? Is it a figure like that? We still don't know exactly who the Angel of Irons is, but Joriel is definitely a figure like that.
Yeah.
Interesting note from, because Matt described Joriel as being able to pass through mountains,
mm-hmm.
walls, like they were nothing.
Yep.
But they have a body.
Yes.
Because I was like, well, that would mean that they were incorporeal, or could become so.
Mm-hmm.
But they still have a body, so I'm interested to see how that works.
Well, okay, here's my take on it. He's a celestial that's been corrupted, that's very hard to kill, and it has to be, bisected, specifically. We've got Gigglefist, who is a corrupted celestial being who's very hard to kill, had to be isolated and everything. We've got Yasha, who's a corrupted celestial, who's very hard to kill because as a zealot barbarian, she can be resurrected without paying material.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you see a theme here?
Yeah.
Which lends credence to your theory about the one, and I don't remember their name, because you had that theory about the angel that came down and went to the other side to fight the blood war.
Yeah.
We did get my theory mentioned, because the very first time we saw the anchor and we talked about the blood war, I mentioned Gratz, who was the devil who went to the side of the demons and is all about the pleasure and stuff. And Joriel is a servant of his.
Yes. And a result of a contract between a devil and a demon.
Yeah.
Well, Lolth, I guess, technically isn't a demon. Not technically.
Not.
Though her domain is in the abyss. So, if you live there, you kind of are.
Guilt by association.
Yeah. So, yeah.
The other thing, the Angel of Iron is in a book of cults that also contains the Traveler.
Yes, and also only 40 years old.
Yes. Now, the Traveler appears to be newer than that.
Yes.
And of course he is, because he's only around 20 years. But it's only mentioned as a recent phenomenon.
Yes. 40 years is an important date. And it probably slipped by a lot of people.
Yep.
40 years ago would have been when the Briarwoods were doing their thing with Vecna.
Yep.
And in Vox Machina, we saw that a corrupted angel being that they fought that had was ruining the platinum mine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think these things are not unconnected.
No, they're not.
Is what I'm saying.
They absolutely are not. We found out about that sinkhole.
Yeah.
It was about the time Vox Machina was fighting that. And Matt has said from the beginning that
the events of Campaign 1
they're going to have to deal with the fallout of the events of Campaign 1. The things they didn't get to, or the things that they left alone.
Yep. And also stuff in the background that he had put in his background lore he wants to deal with more this time.
Yeah.
And we've been talking specifically about Lolth and the Drow.
Yep.
And that we are going to see why the Drow went crazy.
Yes.
And I'm more convinced of that after this episode than ever.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think... So Matt gave them 2 quest items to go after.
Mm-hmm.
The Laughing Hand's Heart, which was sent out to near the Far Realms.
Yep.
And this contract between Asmodeus and Lolth. I have a feeling that that contract, that is the instance that founding is what made the Drow go crazy, that were loyal to Lolth.
Okay.
And the Drow that forsook her in favor of the Luxon were spared the whatever gambit that was in the Blood War that Asmodeus did.
Mm-hmm.
And by destroying the contract to kill Joriel, will free the Drow in Taldore.
Right.
Of their insanity. Is my guess. Also, Matt's playing the celestial angles the same way the players are playing the terrestrial ones.
Yeah.
Where Matt has said from the beginning that this is going to be a more gray area, and he's playing with those gray areas in the Blood War.
Yeah.
In the background, and we'll see that come more and more to the fore as we go on.
The other big part of the lore dump, our long running from pre-show, Chained Oblivion was named. Or is that?
Yep. I try not to get as excited when that's dropped now. Not that I'm not
right. No, and I agree.
The Chained Oblivion is there, and it's going to be the Tarask, and it's going to be glorious.
Yes.
But I don't know how to do it's almost a nervousness.
This is the first blatant naming of it. We've talked about Torag the Crawling King. We've never...
No, they have. But this is the first time the players have made these connections.
Okay.
We've seen them because we were looking for them from the beginning.
Well, yeah.
And we've been saying, it's the Chained Oblivion, Chained Oblivion, Chained Oblivion, Chained Oblivion. Crawling King's the opening act.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this was definitely the first time where we saw a real glimpse of, yes, the Crawling King is the opening act for the Chained Oblivion.
Yeah.
Whose demonic terrestrial child is the Tarask? So, yeah. We shall see. We also saw a parallel instance, and this is a good tip for storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of Thanes,
yes.
These places of power, which lock these beings in place.
Mm-hmm.
Matt has now given them a secondary avenue to follow this thing that he wanted to have be important to the story.
Yeah.
And he thought he was going to get that with Uk'otoa, and that's basically gone now. So he's able to shift gears a little bit, and now he's presenting this idea with Yasha.
Yeah.
While at the same time giving them a MacGuffin to save her.
Yeah.
Which is what the orange thing behind her hair that she saw, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Do you think it was there when she failed her perception check?
Yes.
Okay. I think I agree. And I think it's going to be growing in brightness as they scry on her.
Yeah.
And I think that's a manifestation of Yasha's rage.
Okay.
And I kind of want... when Ashley comes back, because when she comes back, she'll basically be back for good.
Yes.
Barring regular industry travels. that they go through. I want it to be such an epic thing where the Mighty Nine confront Oban. I don't think we're going to get that. They seem to be rushing toward it, but I don't think it's going to happen in the time that they want. Because Essex said, I have a job for you. So while they feel this pressure to get there right now, I think Matt's going to delay that as long as he can, with whatever mechanics he can, and Essex is one of those. But, or maybe they confront Yasha and them, but they don't save her. Maybe that'll happen.
Okay.
But I really want Yasha to break control, because it has to happen at the moment.
I think the breaking of control is how she's going to get her wings back.
Yes. And basically, the vision I have is she rages. But it's a different kind of rage. And maybe they pull that out and then she rages, but when she does, she just... right?
See, I think Ford is going to be the key.
I really want her to get a boon from the Stormlord when she does it.
I would like that as well. Here's why I think it's going to be Ford. Okay. Ford took an exceptional offense to her betrayal because of what happened with Sabian. He was very much that.
Do you think it is getting his forgiveness?
I think it's going to be getting his forgiveness. I think it's going to be part of what I've been saying since before he broke ties with Uk'otoa, that he's going to multi-class to Paladin, which he did, and go Path of Redemption. And it's going to be him. It's going to be... I think it's going to happen around that time. Well, maybe. But I think it's going to be...
That's 3 levels away.
It's
2 levels away. Yeah.
But... Or it's going to set into motion the roleplay for him choosing that path when he hits that level.
I can see
because the Path of Redemption, one of their biggest tenets is that no one is beyond redemption. And him being willing to forgive her is right in line with that order.
Well,
and it leads to him being able to forgive himself.
And that's the big one. That's so the big level 20.
I'm calling it. That is what he is going to do. And it's going to be him. He's going to be the one that's going to do the talking, do the whatever pull that's going to get her to snap and break free of that hold.
I don't think your premise is wrong. I think your timing is.
Okay.
I think Ford is going to be a key player in it because he swore to protect all of the creatures and the Wild Mother's domains.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I think it's going to be him. I think it's also going to be Bo because of their relationship. I think the two of them.
Maybe a kiss from Bo breaks the hold. I mean, it's a little tropey, but
true love's kiss.
Yeah. Real quick, last minute, I wanted
to say about that.
I wanted to mention one thing.
Yes.
And but we probably don't have enough time to really go into it. But one of the big things that Matt talked about in the lore dump was a Archmage in the Age of Arcanum, experimenting with time, disappeared in an effort to go back and warn himself of what the gods were going to do.
Yes.
Have we met that wizard? I think we have.
Oh. Okay.
I think it is the wizard who built the Happy Fun Time Ball.
Okay, we haven't met him. We've only heard about him.
In a narrative sense, we've met him. But time works differently there because the dragon didn't age, and it's spatial.
Yeah. The one thing I'm going to say about his time thing real quick before we head over and watch Travis and Marisha on Talks. If you want to go time travel, in Campaign 1 we met 2 creatures who can do that. Androsphinxes. We can talk about that next week.
Okay. We'll see you guys next week.